We are delighted to introduce something truly special, the Employment Connect, an initiative by the Alumni Association designated to bridge the gap between the talent and opportunity. Whether you are exploring new career paths or seeking top-tier professionals, this job hunt program has the potential to be a game changer. It is our privilege to welcome our title partner, Boyne Haddon, a distinguished executive search firm that is redefining leadership, hiring, and talent acquisition across industries. As a leader in executive search, Boyne Haddon specializes in identifying visionary professionals who drive growth and transformation. With a commitment to excellence, innovation, and deep industry expertise, they connect organizations with the right talent, shaping the future of business worldwide. More than just filling positions, Boyne Haddon is dedicated in building lasting relationships and partnerships that lead to sustainable success. Their presence as our title partner in this conference reflects their dedication to fostering meaningful conversations on leadership and talent strategy. Please join me in welcoming and appreciating Boyne Haddon, our esteemed title partner. Stay tuned and enjoy your chai break. Welcome back, everyone. Hope that kappa chai worked their magic. Settle in and let us begin our Forum 3. Moving forward, let us extend a warm welcome to Mr. Aparup Sengupta, founder and chairman of Aaj Global Group, as the esteemed chairperson for Forum 3. With his expertise and deep insights, we are privileged to have him lead this session. I invite Devangana Sarkar, 2015 Computer Science, to present the memento and flowers to our esteemed guest and graciously escort him to the stage. Aparup Sengupta is a business leader in the IT and BPO, having founded multiple firms including 24/7 Customer and Think Harbor. He was also the global CEO of Aegis, leading its merger with StarTech to create a global outsourcing giant. Recognized among the top leaders in outsourcing, he has been a driving force in transforming India's BPO industry. His leadership continues to influence global business strategies. The stage, sir, is all yours now.
Thank you very much. So, I'm actually a very privileged person today because chairing a session is apparently difficult, but it is very easy actually. Because you let other speakers speak and the audience speak and then the momentum builds up. We have two challenges. One is we are the last session. So, and typically last session inherently has this idea of kab khatam hoga. And therefore, if it is very boring, people will get up and go. So it is important that we as panel try to keep all of you engaged. So without further ado, I would like to invite some of the very, very esteemed guests that I think the Jadavpur Alumni Association has been able to assemble. And as I read out their resumes, you will be able to understand. So first, it's my privilege and honor to welcome Professor Alak N. Sharma, Director, Institute of Human Development, New Delhi. Professor Alak Sharma is currently a professor. Let me read out his very illustrious career. He's a director of the Institute for Human Development, which is IHD, New Delhi. He has made significant contributions to research in varied areas such as livelihood, political economy, employment, labor markets, and related issues. During his academic career spanning over 40 years, he has directed, coordinated more than 40 research projects in the above areas sponsored by various agencies such as the national and state governments, bilateral and multilateral agencies, and international organizations. He has authored, edited, co-edited 18 books and published over 60 research papers in various journals. He is the editor of the Indian Journal of Labor Economics, IJLE, and a peer-reviewed quarterly journal of the Indian Society of Labor Economics, published by Springer, and the Indian Journal of Human Development, IJHD, and a journal brought out by IHD, which is published by SAGE. So with such an august person, we really ask all of you to once again give him a great round of applause. Thank you so much, sir, for coming and coming up with all your wisdom. Next, I will ask Sujata to come on stage and let me do the rituals and then talk about you, please. So here comes Sujata. She is the associate partner of HR transformation from KPMG. So Sujata is a gold medalist from Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai, and has over 23 years of experience working in key positions across various functions of human resources, executive coaching, driving results through collaboration, and strategic business partnering are among her key strengths. Her human resources experience spans multiple industries, including pharmaceuticals, healthcare, consulting, and professional services. Sujata is an effective performance coach and has experience coaching multiple clients at CXO levels. Sujata is an associate partner, HR transformation with KPMG India, where she focuses on building deep client connections and strategizing and executing human capital projects to create a tangible, measurable impact for our clients. Her work spans multiple HR domains, including redesigning performance assessments, transforming culture, DEI, leadership development, HR redesign, leadership coaching, HR effectiveness and engagement, and many more. Sujata strongly believes that nothing can be achieved without being passionate about work, and we'll come to this a little later in the session. Team performance, conversation, and most importantly, relationship. So once again, I request all of you to give her a big round of applause. Thank you, Sujata, for coming with all your passion. And hopefully we'll build some relationship with the audience. And then last but not the least, I would love to welcome a very dear colleague that I've just she became a colleague right now, in the sense that Prachi Chaudhary, Director, People Consulting, EY, and I've been spending last 3 hours with her. So we had some fascinating exchange. Please come. Let me do the honors and talk about you. So in this world, you start building relationship, and when you spend with someone very profound subjects for 3 hours, they become your colleagues. That's after becoming senior citizen, I figured this out. I mean, that's what you should also, all of you who are seniors should remember that. So Prachi Chaudhary is an accomplished HR professional with extensive experience in organization, transformation, change management, and HR consulting across industries. Prachi's expertise also extends to leadership assessment, talent management strategy, and HR transformation. Currently, as the Director of People Consulting at Ernst & Young LLP in Mumbai, Prachi leads in business development and HR transformation projects. She has received multiple awards for business excellence and client management and is recognized as a diversity and inclusion role model in the firm. Prachi's previous roles include positions at Deloitte, Southeast Asia, and SR Group. She holds a global MBA in human resources from SP Jain Center for Management and a Bachelor of Engineering in Civil Engineering. So once again, a big round of applause to Prachi. So with this set of introduction, I think my job becomes little someone like a sutradhar, if I may say, who is basically going to poke and prod and excite and probably nudge people, audience, panelists to elaborate on a subject which is very, very critical in these days. If you look at the theme of energy and then economics and people, I think people forms the bonding glue of any enterprise, bonding glue for any family, bonding glue for a nation, and bonding glue for the world. And that's the most critical, I would say, non-replicable asset that has been created by, if you believe in God, or nature, whatever you might like to say. So now it is our job to discuss on this profound subject in light of certain complexities. And what are those complexities? One, with the advent of AI and other things and automation, there's a tectonic shift that is happening. People are confused. People are a little awestruck. People are amused. And they do not know what is hitting them or what will not hit them. So there's a huge amount of anxiety in organizations in terms of understanding all these artificial intelligence subjects or the fourth industrial era, or the beginning of the fourth industrial era is now at a starting point, and people are very, very curious. Number two, there's a huge change in demographics that is happening in the world. You will see certain developed countries have no people to work. And in some countries, you have excess people who are unemployed. So there's a huge paradigm of geographic diversity that the world is going through. So obviously that's leading to immigration, that is leading to robotics adaptation and so on and so forth. I'm not going there, but it has a ramification on people. Third, there's a generational change. The Gen Z and the maybe baby boomers. There's a transformational attitude, style, outlook, risk tolerance, ability to handle, ability to manage complexity, or openness, or understanding, or embracing, or not embracing, getting fungible and getting challenged or not challenged, or resilience. These are huge topics that the organizations are grappling. While in the car, I saw 5 memes of Gen Z versus old bosses. Am I right? I mean, somebody's trying to get the file and he's asking for it, and the Gen Z puts a heart as a mirror image, and then suddenly he beats her and asks for the file. So all those kind of memes are going on. So from style to expression to all that. And last but not the least is that as this thing unleashed into this world, be it unemployment, be it excess labor or lack of labor, or automation, or AI, organizations are unable to figure out what to do, especially with the latest studies that has come out, that employees are more ready to embrace change than the leaders. It's a very startling study. That means the leaders are yet not ready. Probably they are waiting or putting blinkers to absorb that shock as to what is coming or not changing, whereas the employees are figuring it out. So in this context of a wide complexity and anxiety, we are going to get into a thriller, like around the world in 80 days. We are going around the people in 80 minutes. So that's the challenge and that's the thriller. I'm just the cameraman, you are the audience, and these are the actors. So with that, let me start with Prachi. Prachi, I wrote a few questions for you. And the first question is that, what are the factors affecting employment today? And in context, if you can throw some light on productivity, and how does future productivity look like in this complex world?
Sure. Thank you so much for, first of all, having me here. And thank you, Mr. Sengupta, for this, starting with understanding. Let's understand the concepts and basics first, and then we'll obviously have a lot more engaging discussion. I'll just take forward the thought and the factors that you were mentioning. So, if you see the latest, some of the reports that are already in place that people have started publishing, the recent one, the World Economic Forum, Future of Jobs 2025, okay. It says that, the 22% of jobs that we have currently will get impacted. Now, how will they get impacted is very important to understand. Out of 22%, 14% will get actually, created, okay? The balance 7-8% will actually get displaced. Net, if you see, there will be an increase of 7 to 8% when we talk about jobs and employment. Now, where are these coming from? What are those factors that will actually create these jobs and employment? Okay. First is obviously the technology bit of it. Now, technology actually can be divided into 3 parts. First is the digital readiness or the digital transformation, which pretty much every organization is going. And here I'm not referring to AI typically. I'm referring to more of a normal process digitization that business are really focusing on. The second part is actually AI, where companies are now embarking on the journey of AI. And third and the most important also is the robotics. Just to give you a context and a very small example, I was in a conversation with one of the leading oncology surgeon in India this week. And we were having some other conversation where he mentioned, Prachi, you know what? When I used to do simple laparoscopy surgeries, I just needed one assistant. But now I have upskilled myself. I use robotics. But for robotics, I need 2 assistants. That shows how, despite using robotics as a technology, there is an increment in job. Obviously, the skills are different. Obviously, the requirement is different of one and versus these 2. But yes, there is an increase. The second aspect, like you rightly mentioned, is about, changing geodynamics, increasing regulations on trade, geopolitical tensions. All of that impacts employment at a deep level. The third part is obviously the changing, the demographics, working age population. You will see a lot of the working age population senior is towards the age of, superannuating. But there is a new trend as well, okay, in the working age population where people want early retirements. 40, 45, X dollars is what I earn and I'm out. That also impacts where the employment and the surplus, talent, supply versus demand really happens. The third is, the fourth point is the green revolution. The transition to the entire aspect of the green energy, which is actually increasing a lot of jobs such as your renewable engineers, carbon emission, scientists and analysts and all of that. So there are, while all of these have a flip side, but there is a lot of it which is also helping you to increase the, sort of employment. Now, let's talk about, this is more of a global aspect, okay? Let's talk about India and to your point on productivity. So, EY recently conducted a research, its report is out there saying AIDIF report 2025. We did a detailed study of, let's say, 10,000 tasks. Now, just to give you a background, there are different business processes. If you break them down, those business processes are performed by some role holders or roles. And if you break down further those roles, those become tasks. So these are 10,000 tasks across 22 sectors. We studied them across 3 parameters. The first parameter is extent to which this task can be actually automated in terms of AI. The second was, despite of doing it, what is the human intervention that is still required? And then third, bringing them together is, what is the frequency of this task? When we studied this, we assigned a productivity upliftment score basis, an algorithm here. We came and we realized that, net, if you do all of these things, 38 million employment or employees rather will be, impacted in next 3 to 5 years. How will they be impacted? Again, just breaking them down into 3 categories. The first is their task might get completely automated, which is almost like 24%. The second is augmentation, where there will be an equal involvement of technology, which is AI, versus human, almost like 42%. And balance is amplification, which is more human driven. If I put together first 2, which is 66% of my tasks basically, and bring them out at a business process level, we realize that there will be a productivity boost of almost 8 to 10 hours per week. Now let's understand what does it mean. It means that today I have a 40 hours work week. The work that I'm doing in 40 hours can actually be done in 32 hours. Now let's think about all those concepts which a lot of Western countries are talking about, which is a 4-day work week. Let's understand a lot of other things which will get impacted. So productivity boost will be there, but how you leverage that is a big dollar question here.
Very interesting. So, sir, I think I will segue very vehemently now to you when she's just said that we are heading towards a 4-day work week, potentially with all these ramifications that's going on. But as a country, we are still having so many unemployed. So what is your view, sir, based on the data that you're seeing, that what should we as country, as industry, as consultant, as a nation, what should we do to ensure that there is no more addition to the current unemployment that we have today?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since I am academic, let me also be devil's advocate. I think from the morning I have been listening, a few voices have come, like Mr. Devashish Chatterjee spoke about 4 pillars and something, in which he also put equality. The challenge on employment front, whether we become developed country or not by 2047, the challenge of employment going to be very, very serious one in the country. We do not know, fully understand employment in the country. Do people have some idea what is the level of unemployment in the country? Less than 3%. Is it true? But educated youth employment is 18%. Educated graduate and above unemployment is 30%, and female employment, educated graduate employment is 36%. And it is becoming, so first challenge is increasing educated unemployment. By the way, education is expanding. But our education system, I have not to tell you the data, of course there are data, 50% of our graduates are not employable. 55% of the educated youth, graduates youth, they work in blue collar jobs. So it is mismatch. And the most important reason is our poor quality of education, and we have 4.5% formal vocational training. In Western countries, Western Europe, it is 60%. So this is the most important challenge that we are going to face in coming days, and solution lies, we somehow only a skill. Good education and skills are interrelated. If you have good education, what is IM? It just selects best talent, not that they are providing skills, some courses. So if you provide good education, so this is the most important. The second important challenge, and about which I am talking about equality, and chairman of the earlier session also said that, we are facing, on the one hand, Prachi has been talking, most of the people concerned about industrial employment. Our 10% of the jobs are only formal, good employment. 90% are informal. 46% of people are in agriculture. And since this is Jadavpur University Alumni Association, 95% of the farmers in West Bengal and Bihar are marginal and small farmers. Transitioning them from agriculture, our manufacturing base is so small, transitioning them from agriculture to non-agriculture, we are talking, by the way, my view is that AI challenge, technological developments have been taking place. Our jobs are becoming more and more capital intensive. AI will affect for next 5 years in the margin. So challenge is, by the way, just to give you, since I am habituated to give some statistics, we have 46% people in agriculture employed. GDP 15%. It will become by 41, 42, 4%. But our workforce will remain 32%. See the disparity. So disparity between agriculture, non-agriculture, services, and within services also. So I think most important challenge we are facing, on the one hand, by the way, still 42% of our workforce is less than secondary education. And getting secondary education, good secondary education, is must for now future generation of employment. Thank you very much.
Very, very interesting, very thought-provoking. I think, Sujata, I think it's a very opportune time for you to talk of with this backdrop. I mean, it's a little bit of a gloomy picture. On the one hand, a positive picture of a potential 4 days a week, and a gloomy picture of huge disparity and gaps as a nation. But now let me do a little bit of helicoptering and come back to maybe a company or an organization. Today, are the CEOs ready to embrace the future with what is happening in the overall macroeconomy, the employment gaps and potential proliferation of technology and AI into the organizations? What is your thought? And change management per se?
No, absolutely. So thank you, sir, for that one, because I think across India, and when I speak to some of the leaders in the industry, I realize that there is a mix of excitement and fear. Now, the fear because we do not know it well enough, the excitement because of the potential that technology offers for the world at large, including India. But what Sir here said is so relevant. There is a significant employability gap in the country. What I mean is, and if you look out any reports, look at the Skill India report, look at NASSCOM reports, look at the World Economic Forum reports, you'll see only 51% of our educated population is employable. And corporates struggle with that. So we have a demand. We are going to be, by 2030, the youngest working economy in the world. We will have over 65% of our population that's going to be less than 35 years old. Look at the potential we're sitting on as a country. Now, leaders are worried about how do we convert that potential into performance and offer the world an opportunity to make India great once again. And we're already great. But sustaining that position is going to take some effort. To my mind, there are 2 or 3 things that's in the mind of the CEO. The first one is, how can I skill, reskill, build the right skill? Second, how can I build something that's going to stay relevant? See, building requires investment, not just in terms of money, also in terms of time. But technology is changing at a pace at which it is unknown to us. A lot of our CEOs right now are in an age group where change at that pace is too fast for us to handle. So what we try to do is we try to grapple with what we know. We work with think tanks that are much younger than us, and we try to do the best that we can in this scenario. Is there openness? Absolutely. Is there a lot of commitment? Absolutely. But do we have a blueprint? Not really. And that's caused by the fact that, one, there is a gap. There is an employability gap. And that is created by our education system. Some of it can be filled by corporates, which is true, but some of it also needs to be filled by individuals, the labor force. If you see, one of the things that I often think about is with so much open universities in India, and India is actually the hotbed for a lot of free education that's available online. Look at LinkedIn, Udemy. I mean, all of us, I don't know when was the last time some of us went and did a free course. It's available. But are our youth truly sitting down and making a choice that, yeah, this is going to be something that's going to help me in the future? Or are we waiting for governments to give me a course where I can go and skill up? So I think it has to be done by everybody in equal measure for this to work. Corporates need to do their bit. Government needs to do their bit, but youth does need to do their bit. And there is so much opportunity within the country. So a couple of things that I wanted to share with you, and this is just something that came to my mind when I was coming in today. Things that have changed the way I think. Now, I'd be slightly older as compared to the youth that I just spoke about, but I went ahead and tried to book a train ticket very recently. Anybody here has tried to book a train ticket more recently? Long distance, 1, 2 of you? Okay, 3, 4 of us, right? So you are familiar, did you use Ask Disha? Did you? No, you didn't, okay. Ask Disha is the chatbot of the Government of India on IRCTC. It is outstanding what she does. I have personalized her. Obviously, it's a software, not a she. But within 5 minutes, she figures it out. She just asks you 5 questions and your tickets are booked. It's quite outstanding to see how, technology has become part of what we are doing every day. The first time when UPI was introduced in the country, I was a late adopter because I thought all my money was going to go away. I didn't want to use it. I was like, "Arey, kyun do apna details? Why should I connect it to my account? My password is not the safest." So I probably used UPI very late. But today, I actually walked in here without a bag. All I'm carrying is a notepad and my phone. That's what technology has done to us, no? I don't remember the last time I carried my credit cards. Unless I'm traveling, I won't even carry my ID. Only reason being, phone can charge out, Aadhaar us pe hai. But otherwise, I don't carry my phone anywhere, I don't carry my wallet anywhere. So things have become that way. The opportunity, though, is for those of us, how many of us here have used ChatGPT more recently? Okay, a lot of you, right? ChatGPT has a feature of creating an image. And I'll tell you where I see opportunities for human beings. Try putting in a query saying, create an image of a full wine glass. I will give $1,000 to somebody who can get me that image. Chalo, 1,000 ka main to zyada le lo, because it's impossible for ChatGPT to give you an image of a full wine glass. That's because wine is not served full. ChatGPT picks up images from across the globe. Try different things. Show overflowing wine glass. It will show you something fallen down. It is impossible for ChatGPT to create an image of a wine glass that is full of wine till the brim. Ask a 3-year-old to do it. It will take less than 3 minutes. You will have a wine glass. You will have red color. You will have it to the brim. Technology cannot replace what I call humanness. And for that reason alone, we need to think about where the investment needs to go. The investment needs to go in areas like human and robotic interface. The investment needs to go in areas like productivity, like Prachi said. How can we make humans faster? I don't believe it will give us a 4-day week. It just means 5th day kuch aur karenge. But, we are far from the 4-day week, at least in the Indian context. But point is, there are things that technology will do for us. But there are things that technology cannot do. I'm never going to be comfortable sitting with a robot telling me what's wrong with my son in a hospital. Impossible. I need a doctor to pat my hand and tell me, ma'am, he's going to be okay. It's not going to happen with technology. I can have a nurse, a robotic nurse come and take a blood sample. I can have a robotic nurse come and give medicines. I cannot have a robot giving me a hug and saying, don't worry, the operation is going to go well. For that reason alone, there is a distance to cover. And for that reason alone, the more human we become as humans, I just think that connection will work a lot better, and the opportunity to still create a difference will continue to stay. But back to you now.
Oh, that's excellent. So from doom and gloom, we are coming back to the positive light. So that's the fun. I mean, so I just recently read a very interesting statement from the CEO of DBS Bank in Singapore. So he's an Indian origin person. He made a very kind of a proclamation, declaration that in my 25 years of career as a senior leader, it's for the first time in my life I have not been able to create jobs. DBS is downsizing for the first time 4,000 people in Singapore. And at the back of that news, he made that statement. So this kind of displacement might happen in the bank, but those digital nurses and those extra people in the OTs will suddenly crop up. Pretty much shows that there is going to be a fungibility of industries and jobs, and the manner in which we look at organization structure is going to unfold in a very, very different way. So as a segue to that, I have read one question, and I'll read it out from the audience, and then I'll come back to you, Prachi. Is the advent of AI an actual threat, or is it the need for youth to upskill or build on their skill sets in the rigid backdrop or backdated education system? Is that the actual problem, that we have a backdated education system vis-a-vis the skills that is required? Maybe AI is a boon, but we are not ready to embrace that boon. And should I say the name? Is it okay to say the name or? Okay. Yeah, Mr. Abhinandan Sinha, actually, he's the person who made this question.
No, great question actually, and I think it's a billion-dollar question, because pretty much like Sujata mentioned, when it comes to when you have conversations with these CEOs, CXOs, CHROs, the first thing or the first problem statement they really put in front of us is how to ensure that their employees stay relevant, they are relevant in the business, and they are keeping up with the pace, they are contributing, and they're aligned to the overall business vision, organization vision. Now, when comes such technologies, obviously all organizations, figure out what are the business cases for them. What are those areas where they want to really invest into? Now, if they have a plan and employees are not ready for it, obviously there is a vacuum there, and that needs to be, filled. Now, one way obviously is, a lot of these organizations are in this journey of reskilling, upskilling. Again, one of the reports says, current skills that we are talking about, okay, almost 39% will become redundant or irrelevant, let's say 5 years, 7 years down the lane. What does it really mean that it needs to be, you need to continuously learn, you need to relearn? AI is let's say for a argument purpose, let's call it a boon. Lot of things, just let me take my own example. If I have to send 100 mails a day, for different purposes, there are at least 4 or 5 mails that takes more than 10 minutes, because I need to think through and give a response which may not be so favorable for my client, for example. Now with Microsoft Copilot for business, at least what I can do is I can put all my thoughts there. I don't really have to worry about the language, and Copilot will give me the first draft of it. And if that's the first draft, what I do is it's easier for me now to just modify it. But what is important here is obviously organizations giving us those technology to the right set. Second is me as an employee knowing how to and what to use the technology or AI for. Now, if we talk about our education system, from a formal education system, I would say yes, there is, that gap, that the revamp that's needed from, right from the top to ensure that it remains relevant. But today's students and kids are are not aliens. They know what is happening. Last week, my daughter was having a conversation. She's just 8-year-old, by the way, okay? She was having a conversation with her friends, and she was like, ये मॉम ने टीचर लगा रखी है, किसी भी टाइम आती है, सुबह इतना होमवर्क देती है, why do I need her? Can I just not use Alexa to ask my questions and just do my homework, and Alexa can do my homework for me? If that's the conversation she's having with her friends, she's already aware about what technology can do for her. She has a tab where if she gives all the voice commands, she doesn't type, she'll give voice commands, she'll chat and get things done. On my birthday or any of our last 3-4 family functions, we have her using, some of those creative engines to give us a nice picture, a nice song, or something that I would have never imagined that she can do. What does it really mean that these kids are already exposed to it, but ensuring that we have a right curriculum, ensuring that all of this is integrated, embedded in right way in our education policies and framework is very important, so that we push them in the right direction. And when they actually become part of a working age population, and when they are out there in the market, they know the do's and don'ts. I'll just take another minute there, right? With all of these comes a lot of responsibilities as well, because given this exposure, they can use it for really wrong reasons as well. Hence, the entire ethics and responsible AI, that education is equally important to ensure that every technology can have its flip side. So we use it, responsibility is equally important. Over to you, sir.
It's like ice cream in the fridge and you want the kid to be responsible, am I right? And when you're not at home. Yeah, so I think very interesting, and I'll add a little point on my behalf, because I run a school and it recently got CBSE affiliation. And today I'm very impressed with the national education policy. It is talking of 29 skills that is being proposed to be taught from class 6 onwards, and I was shocked to see subjects like AI, beautician courses, and then carpentry, and something which has nothing to do with your formal education that Professor you were saying, around those areas, so that those labor force are ready, even if they are class 11 pass or class 12 pass, in that context. So my next question to you is in segue with a question that has come from Mr. Nag, is what are the courses to sustain in pharma project, in design engineering consultant and AI? This is a generic question that has been asked, but going back to the point, are our universities ready with this kind of thought of bringing skills directly into the curriculum, or is it still stuck?
Before answering this question, you had put about the technology that both of them also responded. Technology has always been, from steam engine to emails and all ICT, it increases productivity. And all researches so far, most of the researches so far done, shows that it has created employment also. Of course, disruption of employment, creation of employment. But the current phase of technological development, which is happening, and Prachi quoted about World Economic Forum, I have seen that. There are several, of course, it is based on some interviews across the countries. There is no unanimity among the people whether it is going to create jobs. But one thing is clear, it is going to have a lot of uncertainties and all that. And uncertainties in the labor market, society, and any technology to be successful has to be in the context of the societal needs. Not industry can't adopt.
Right.
By the way, Mr. Chairman, you asked about productivity. If labor productivity increases, employment decreases. So in India, we have surplus labor. So what to do? Now coming to different courses universities are. Our university, already I had told, we don't figure any university in 100. In 200, a couple of them, Indian Institute of Technology and Indian Institute of Science. They are not big university, only institutes. Maybe 10% of the universities are okay. Since we are 140 billion countries, even on margin, okay, IIT produces and our general education system, you see North India, except Delhi University, Eastern India, Bengal is somewhat university exception, see Madhya Pradesh, everywhere. University system is in a mess. Already we talked, 50% graduates, we don't, by the way, this test, universal test, what is called PISA or something, what happens, India, Vietnam is far ahead than us. China is far ahead than us. So we are not ready. And I said that these things, courses are all right. These are taught. Germany is the best example. But as I said, good education, after all, a skill creation takes place most efficiently on job training. So skills can be acquired, but good education in the later years can't be acquired. So our university system, I have studied these and all that, for Chinese, Southeast Asian university, except some countries, but most of them are much better than, and now you might be seeing this new education policy, I'm talking about South versus North. Many universities teachers are resisting. They are not ready to go ahead. For the entire burden has come. So it should be gradual. But in theory, I think the course curriculum designed and all that, skills provided, after all, skills should be part of the education system. So I think I agree with you.
So very interesting. So I was part of the NASSCOM's Executive Council, and where we studied and clearly felt as corporates, and I'm speaking on behalf of the industry here, that whatever the universities are producing and whatever the corporates require, there's a gap in terms of their readiness, which is called the day one readiness. For example, if you are managing a back office, say for a bank, and you get a graduate in commerce, he has no idea about banks' internal basic functions like creditworthiness or debit and various kind of accounting norms, etc., etc. So in that context, where there's a huge amount of skill gap, and that skill gap will continue to expand given the current situation, and also considering that AI is, and I think I will just read out one person's very interesting part he has mentioned, sum and substance, is AI need learning, and AI learn the things from the inputs given by the creator and ecosystem, so it can't really substitute, which is so true, AI is a servant created by humankind. But at the same time, her daughter is asking, let Alexa do my homework, and lo behold, just for your information, last month, an AI painting was auctioned for $735,000. The person who made that painting has never painted in his life. It is an AI painting in Sotheby's, $735,000 it was auctioned. And he has never painted. And I think Prachi was telling me during the break that somebody who doesn't know how to sing will sing like Hemantada with AI. So therefore it is a slave. But having created the slave, that we have created a monster, and that needs to be tamed. Let's see, we are taming it. But still there is the Prachi's daughters of the world and others will continue to say this. So how do you handle such a complex problem in a corporate world which is trying to strategize what should I do tomorrow, next 2 years, 5 years, what's going to be the plan? How do you advise CEOs to manage such things? You can think and ponder.
Well, where perhaps we see complexity, I see a lot of opportunity. One, Alexa is going to give you the same answer irrespective of who is going to ask. Now, whether that is Prachi's daughter or my son, Alexa will give you the same answer for the same question. But you ask the same question to two human beings, you're going to get two different answers. Right? So, the point I'm trying to make here is that clients and CEOs look for differentiators. They don't look for similarities. They look for what makes it difficult to differentiate in the marketplace. What will sell more? What will be difficult to replicate? Technology essentially applies to the easily replicable. And those are the jobs that you see are going to go away more quickly. Receptionists, data entry operators, some of the others that security. These are the ones that will go off because easily, you can easily replace them. They're repeatable processes. And that's also the issue with technology. Now, while we can continue to train technology so that becomes easier for them to respond. For instance, a lot of the customer support executives that we're talking about, technology is day one ready. You can do a first level phone call and you can say this, my phone is not working. Technology can tell you, did you try this, did you try this, did you try this? Then it will go to level 2. Level 2 is technology again. But the minute a level 2 cannot solve it, it has to go to a human, which is level 3. Right? So there's only so much training that can be done. So my take is the way CEOs are looking at it and organizations are looking at it is which is the layer where we can get a good marriage between productivity, time saving, efficiency and cost and money saving. All of that, easy way, use technology. The bigger challenge though, and this is not just CEOs but across, is that at some point, productivity will actually start reducing. Human productivity will start reducing. Machine productivity, mind you, will go up. And I'm going to say this with a big bucket of salt because that's also my prediction for this marketplace. The hooking of technology for all of us, each one of us, figure out how much time you spend on technology. Yes, we are getting our work done faster. But are we spending a lot more time binging on shows? Are we spending a lot more time listening to podcasts? Are we spending a lot more time shopping online? Are we spending a lot more time asking ChatGPT to do our work? The hook is very strong. And it is very difficult to unhook. Over the last decade, the average sleeping time for adults across the world has come down. If the average sleeping time for adults comes down, productivity cannot go up. It's a very simple math, right? So those are the kinds of things that we should be worried about. Saying, how do we control our own human urges, let technology do its job, and can humans also do what's right for them? So to me, I see huge opportunity. How can we start using technology to help us more, both at a personal level as well as at a professional level? But organizations right now are only thinking about maximizing efficiency and minimizing cost. Does that help?
Sure.
One point, when Sujata was talking about, came across, when we are actually training and when we keep using AI, they get trained. In the process, what is happening is actually we are getting untrained. The amount of time I used to spend on thinking and doing something, my thinking capability is actually coming down. And that's very important for us as a human to understand that our thinking cannot come down and we can't rely so much on technology. AI and all are very good when it is black and white, 0 and 1. But the moment there is a shade of gray to it, humans are required. But if we stop thinking, and because we are more reliant on them, I'm not sure who will, fill the that grade of gray, basically. So, over to you.
Yeah. I think a very interesting point you have raised. And I think I always say this, if you look at artificial intelligence, is nothing but a rapid deployment of rear view mirror knowledge of the travel that you have done so far and dishing it out. It will probably have challenges in innovating, and I think from here I'll segue quickly into paradigms which are not AI, but brute force of human being, like emotion, empathy, love, and they are so prevalent in directly or indirectly in the behaviors of the leaders, inspiring HR policies. How do you think that part, is it taking a backseat with all this transformation that is going on in the world? Sir, in that I would like to ask questions, especially on skills, because there's a very interesting question somebody asked, is that with the growth of global capability centers, especially in the financial segment, the pace of recruitment have gone up for graduates and not necessarily MBAs. So therefore, is it difficult for them to match? The graduates will soon feel that they have no jobs, and therefore it's becoming a difficult time for them. So these are problems that maybe the audience is also perceiving, as to there's a tectonic shift. मतलब तुम पढ़ाई नहीं किया, ठीक है, you are in JP Morgan Chase. What is your degree at BA Arts? What do you do? I work for back office for a legal job, which is some hiya ka mati hua from this screen to that screen, and then you go and make that brag and you get 30,000 rupees plus PF plus everything. And a guy who is really slogged and worked hard is probably not getting there, and because maybe he doesn't speak well, so skill is overtaking will. So these are all challenges, sir. I think both of you, if you can take a stab at this as to what's happening in the industry and what are we doing in the education system and what is happening to our labor force. Are they challenged? Are they perplexed? Or what is going on? What does your research say?
I think I pose the challenge. India has a lot of contradictions. As I said, that some of the universities are very good, but 42% of our workforce uneducated, means below secondary, quality of education poor. But one thing is this skill, as I said that, these days, AI without AI, even without that, a good education, generic skill, good education. But now with AI and similar technological level, Mr. Chairman, what will be required that you acquire a good education, plus constant have 2-3 skills, 1 or 2 skills, which can be learned in 2 to 3 months. But be prepared to unlearn those skills after 1 year or 2 years. So that is why I am emphasizing that quality of education is and which we lack in the country. So with AI also it is going to happen. Constant technology is changing so fast with unprecedented level. We do not know, many uncertainties are going to take place in the society, labor market, everywhere. So these skills that you are talking about, as I said, good education plus 1-2 skills, and you should be prepared to unlearn those skills after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, about which we do not know. And that is why knowledge about the labor market, how it is changing. Earlier we could project how the things are going to change. Now we can't project. There are so many uncertainties that we can't do.
Okay, I think Sujata, this is a very poignant question for you. AI is obviously an automation tool. Let's consider that as a tool. If you remember when calculators came and when computers came, and I was a student in engineering college in Kolkata. I mean, one of the other colleges, BE College, and I remember HSBC Bank was computerizing, Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank, and we had a communist government that time, so we went and said that we have to stop this. And And while we were thinking and we convinced ourselves that they will take away all the clerical jobs, and this is a huge curse to the society, this rapid computerization. And then we did that Cholchena Cholbena and did all the Gherao and all. I mean, and then what happened is, and in hindsight, I feel the first supercomputer, supercomputer and the largest computer in India was brought by Indian Statistical Institute in Kolkata. It would have been the Silicon Valley of India, but it happened in a retirement person's paradise because of the cultural milieu that was created, of a very misunderstood sense of that computer is going to take jobs away and not create jobs. Today, the entire boon of our $100 billion that is flowing through NRIs from all the people who are spread all over the world has happened. And I think a lot of questions have been related to that. So what is your thought? What are the next frontiers in which India can take a very strong and significant seat and make those changes happen? So what is your thought while you're advising CEOs?
See, one, it's important to understand what is India the hotbed for. Now, technology overall we understand, and I also gave you some context about how it's a young crowd, how there is a lot of talent that is available here, how there is availability of an open education system. And we just spoke about the movement from educational qualifications to skills, which I think it's positive, because it kind of levels the playing field. Everybody might not have an opportunity to go to a great school, but everybody has an opportunity to skill up. वो कर सकते हैं. So the ones who are skilling up are also investing in their own development, and that skill is relevant, and hence people go ahead and move forward. So the kind of roles that are going to come up in India, mostly going to be in India over the next, I would think, decade or so, would be the ones around software engineering. So most of software engineers, those kind of jobs will come to India. UI, UX, those kind of jobs will come to India. Ethical hacking, those jobs will come to India. Project and functional management consultants, those jobs will come to India. There is one on cyber security and hacking, those jobs will come to India. These are the ones which I am seeing already the shift happening from more developed economies to India for two reasons. One, there is a heavy talent pool. Second, it's still affordable. So those are the reasons why you will see some of these hot pockets or hotbeds of talent in India for these skills. Cloud computing, tech support, data science and analytics are other areas that you will see coming to India over the next decade in a big way. Some of them are already here. Now, given that context, I think what organizations can do, and we often recommend for organizations, is create a more continuous learning framework so that you keep skilling. You don't need to skill only internally, you can skill externally also. Take a slightly philanthropic approach to nation building. So create for everybody. It is not, see, you are never going to be able to hire the amount of talent that comes out from colleges every year. But what's the harm in skilling the talent? Absolutely no harm. It's a good thing to do. It enhances your footprint in the marketplace and you become actively part of nation building. So that is one advice that we give very actively to our clients, saying start having those partnerships with academia and start building the skills. The second thing we say is that keep an eye out for what kind of roles are coming. It's changing on a monthly basis. So you need to keep a watch on what kind of skills are moving to India and what kind of skills are going back from India. So once you start looking at that, you will keep knowing 10 years out what you have to build now. And then start building it right now. Start investing in those capabilities. So AI, ML ho gaya, data ho gaya, computer science. That's the reason you'll see all NITs and IITs right now have computer science as a course. Number of seats is 50 or less, but all of them have it. And it is also the most aspired course amongst all the IITs and the NITs. So it's happening not just in corporates, it's also happening in educational institutes that are funded by the government. That's another way to do it. The last one way to do it is for us to start pushing our kids, our relatives, everybody we know who is in that age group to start doing something with technology. Kuch to sikho. Create that excitement. That, you know, have you done this course? Ye 15-minute ka course hai, ye kar lo. And there are those quick things that kids can do. So can we as elders start influencing kids of learnable age, at least the ones that listen to us, to start going and start doing something and learning by themselves. Those are the kinds of things that I would say in the future for us to go ahead and just start getting a little more ready for all the things that might come our way. Right.
Yes, Professor Sharma. Yes.
Yeah, no, I forgot to, a very important point, Mr. Chairman, who put about changing aspirations, emotions, behavior. By the way, in economics, behavioral economics has become very important. And 2 years back, a psychologist who turned into behavioral economist has received the Nobel Prize. But coming to that, I think in our country also, now with dissemination of communication and all that, aspirations level of, and as I said that our disparity have increased. Disparity in not income, maybe in income, not poverty. Poverty is down, maybe minimal, so-called poverty. So coming to that, at organization level also said that, with third wave of technology also, trade unionism declined. And I'm not going to that debate, irresponsible trade unions, all that. But you need some mechanism of dialogue between employer and employee. Because we are talking about organizational strategy and all that. And Europe, particularly Eastern Europe, and Japan also, Korea also, employers are worried this impersonal relationship. Like Korea, even now trade unionism is quite strong. It is a developed country. So how to have dialogue, because relationships should not be impersonal, and it is very dangerous for the society. Last, Mr. Chairman, one observation. You heard the finance minister saying that profits have boomed in India, but wages have not increased so much. So social responsibility of business, Indian industry. Why Bill Gates donates 99% of its income to the society? And this is not uncommon in Western countries. We have just started something. So I think that point you said about emotions, relationship between industry and employee is very important. And there is danger is that with new technology, AI, it may become impersonal.
So I think you have ignited a very important point, and which I was trying to get into, is that we have talked so much of intelligence, automation, process, re-engineering, but end of the day, when we are talking of people, it's to do with consciousness, am I right? The awareness, the feeling, the element of love, the idea of compassion. I got a question just now that talks of, we are talking very well about the top 20% of the society. What is happening to the bottom 80%? I mean, who's thinking about them? These are very pertinent questions people are asking, that we are wearing a suit and tie and talking as elitists as to what's going on. But probably we are not thinking. In fact, a few questions came on that is really education, is it facing a huge dilemma, or is employment facing a huge dilemma in terms of the way it is synchronized? I'll just read it out between degree and skill. So is skill more important than a degree, or are we heading to a society that people will not feel like getting educated? Pretty much what happened in the US, that you are in Michigan and you're in Detroit and you see there's a car factory, I'm going to get a job there, why the hell should I work? I'm going to go and figure out how to assemble machines and then go and work there. So are we heading towards that? Or maybe we don't have manufacturing, are we heading towards that, okay, I will not pass out because I'll earn 30,000 by doing delivery for Zomato? I'm just provocating. Are we moving there? Therefore, how to say good morning to a customer, how to hand over a packet, how to operate the app to ensure that I get a better tip from the customer. Is that skill what I should be taught as a youngster? Because that is something which is money in hand. then figuring out behavioral economics and take a graduate degree on that. I mean, that is happening actually in reality today on the ground. So in a context of this, where do you think is the next frontier of innovation that you believe as consultants are going to happen? And I'll give you a context. If you look at telecom and UPI, it was path-breaking to the world. That you are sending in seconds billions of transactions by creating just an architecture of payment. Today, India is tall at the ranking order number 1, 21 countries want to buy that stack, suddenly. What is that we can do with all these available technologies, which is very, very Indian, it solves a problem. And I'll throw an idea, since you are in pharmaceutical, and that's what I promised that I'll do. Today, India has a backlog of 5 lakh doctors. Villages do not have doctors. The urban setup is filled up with people coming from all small towns and landing up in Tata Memorial for cancer or for this and that. Is there a possibility to use AI and have a cadre of paramedics that will go and solve basic problems in villages and then only get somebody who's a specialist who need not physically touch, because all the recording devices can measure. The doctor can sit here and one doctor can dispose 200 patients in a day and still have a good day. But servicing maybe the whole of Bengal or whole of Tamil Nadu, this is just a dream, just a thought. I mean, do you think such things will happen in India?
In fact, when we were talking about this and the next frontier, the first thought that actually came to my mind was, to be honest, healthcare industry. We talk a lot about all other industries which are very easy to embrace the technology and change. IT, ITES, financial services, manufacturing setups, in some way or other, they do embrace technology and they are pretty much the, first movers in that. But when it comes to health sciences, healthcare especially, with the invent of AI to be specific, there are a lot of opportunities that people are already seeing. To start with simple things, which is more like from a process perspective, and then I'll come to the point that you had also, sort of just seeded in. There are a lot of these diseases when people wanted that there's early indicator and early sign of it, okay? And that's where the potential is, where people are trying to see that basis the data and analytics, can there be early detectors for diseases like, let's say, cancer? And that's where, people are actually doing that research, investing time and doing it.
People are doing it in Google and everything leads to cancer. The 8th order of any disease or any symptom is cancer.
Cancer, yeah.
So it is also creating a huge trauma.
Absolutely.
In my mind.
So that's people.
Am I right? I mean, is that what?
Yeah. So,
list number 8 is cancer.
So
थोड़ा throat में pain है, I mean, cancer. Number 8.
Absolutely. So that's people side of it. What I'm referring to here is more like healthcare professionals, where they are trying to build on data, the patient data available, the patient history available, a lot of other data and dynamics are available to do this research and analytics so that you have early detectors of it. Okay. The second thing that's almost there in the most of the hospitals now, and people are actually, healthcare industry is going towards it, are the smart beds, where there is continuous monitoring of, your vitals. And hence what nurse used to come and do it in every, let's say 45 minutes to take your vitals, that bed is already taking. Does that mean that nurse will no longer go? It's not that way. Nurse will go, but there is a real-time display of your vitals at nursing station. Right. So what it happens is they know exactly if they have come after a 45-minute round, but there is a problem, they need to run out immediately. But they'll still continue with that 45-minute till we stabilize on technology front. Okay. Now the second part actually, where you were talking about, while there could be all these technologies, right? But the point here is again to exactly what you mentioned, that am I okay if I sit in villager where I have absolutely no idea what is happening to me, and there is some AI agent, I use that and then I get, okay, these are the three things. Do we really want that, or do we want really a human intervention there? can it be so reliable? You know, again, we are talking about technology versus human, right? There was always a debate that once you have robots, you no longer need your radiologist, because it's all about reading the reports, the numbers, and giving the diagnosis, and that robotics can do it very well. But where is that element where doctor will actually do the final judgment? And if there is an evil disease, that doctor will sit with the patient, robotics will not sit with the patient. So while there is a lot of frontier there, advent there, and people are doing a lot of things in that industry, but at the same point of time, that balance, so that, you know, all the healthcare services which are not available in that should be available, but in what form and shape, and how you can leverage that, thinking around that is important.
I think a very good question. I still remember in telecom, we had this concept of STD booth. So maybe we'll have health booth in villages. The villager will go there. There'll be a paramedic. All vitals will be measured. It will be beamed into a central command center. Maybe in where station nurses and trained people are there. Acha, this is okay. Let me quickly do a video with that patient and figure out. And the paramedic will read out and then prescribe, and everything happens. He just travels 1 kilometer. The doctor is 5,000 kilometers away, and that gets served. That is an ecosystem that one can dream of, am I right? In an India which solves its problem with the ample use of AI, so you will get jobs to paramedic, to a person who is managing the beds, or OPD or whatever, those are possibilities. So in this context, there are a lot of questions. One is directed to me. I'll take that just as the last one. And quickly, in 2 minutes, if you can just talk of the regulatory system in terms of ethics in AI. I mean, that is something which has been asked, and what are the regulatory components, especially for disruptive use of technologies, and what are some of the ramifications around that, and is it going to hamper or create employment creation? So it's a question, open-ended question. So what are your thoughts around that? Because end of the day, AI.
You are asking me?
Yes, I'm seeing both of you can just quickly chat. Yes.
This is a really difficult question, because you see about AI, you read in the newspapers that now Grow, what is the company of Elon Musk, has sued the government of India about that. So I think a regulatory system for AI, or in fact gig platform workers are becoming some part of the worker, not that agricultural workers in India or construction workers in India. And that is why I had said in the beginning that India has a lot of contradictions. But some part of the workers are becoming global. You do not know, they will work for a company in US, Japan, or anywhere. So regulating them is evolving. And this is one of the most important challenges, how you improve the conditions of gig and platform work. It doesn't relate to India. It involves cross-country, some kind of international collaboration. So some international institutions you need. I think this is one challenge, but the larger issue is, as I said, that this phase of technological development in the world, AI and related, is most disruptive, and controlling it for the benefit of the society. Of course, productivity will increase. You put that, you are dreaming for entire health problem to be solved by AI. What will happen to our doctors? What will happen to patient and doctor connect? So a lot of questions need to be answered. And right now, either in enterprises, industry, in society, regulating system not for AI, regulating system for other technologies also needs to be stressed. And it also, freedom of speech, many things, it involves democracy. So these are very complex questions for which you need a separate debate.
So It's actually an area of opportunity again, because that's an area that isn't impacted by AI. So it's split into three different things. How is data collected? How is data stored? How is data used? When I say used also, I mean purged. So essentially, data privacy is about what you do with that data, right? And all of us worry. I don't know how many of you have realized this, but for those of us who have OK Google at home and Alexa at home, those things are always listening. It's interesting because sometimes it shows you ads of things you never asked for it to show you. But you were talking to somebody at home and saying that, Arey, you know, I have not tried out that hotel, I've heard some good things. The next thing you know, it shows you something, try this new place the next time you're out. So those, to my mind, are big risks around data. The always listening, always gathering, not knowing that as a recipient, I have signed a 50-page disclaimer that I have never read. None of us read it. There is a 50-page font 2, okay, not 2, chalo. AI is not catering to. It is also a piece that is not coming to India. Digital privacy, governance, and monitoring is an area that is being specialized in Europe and the US. There are specialization courses there, and there are humans who are going to be sitting and playing out those lawsuits. So to me, it's real, the threat is real, but it's also going to be one that is not going to be replaced. That job of how do you create a safe environment for humans with everything to do with data and AI and robotics is an area of specialization by itself, which should be taken up by some of our smarter people and create jobs in that space. Back to you.
Yeah, so I think time's almost up. It's time for me to wrap up. I could not take a few personal questions and maybe one or two questions largely related to what is the view of this panel. It's very difficult to come up with a very solid view. But I think I will try and end this on a very promising note in the sense on ethics. And this is my conversation I was having with a team in Google. I mean, they're very close. They're working on the driverless car. You have heard of that project, am I right? The driverless car. And there is an ethical dilemma that they're going through. Because end of the day, AI or automation is algorithmic. You teach an algorithm, and the algorithm says that try and ensure that in the event you are encountering an accident, you minimize casualty. Now here this very interesting phenomenological thing came up. And what is that? The car is going and the other guy on the right lane is suddenly come here, and this guy in split second is taking a decision that if I hit that car, I mean, my passenger, the driverless car passenger and the other passenger both will have a head-on collision, 4 people will die, and there's a little girl on the footpath, and if I kill it, so it is doing an algorithm, 4 death versus 1 death, so let me turn the steering and go to the footpath. This is where I think these people on which we started this whole conversation will shine, because we are consciousness. Artificial consciousness is not possible. So therefore, to summarize, we will continue to live in a world where people has these letters like P, E, O, P, L, E. And I'll just try and write it down, and I wrote it down and I thought I'll end with that. People are the only people who have passion. You remember that? I talked when I was introducing. An AI tool will not have passion. People will have passion. Empathy, that okay, I'll condone you, I'll forgive you. AI will not say that. It will say you're hired or you're fired. In a very plastic, algorithmic way, it will say that. Omni, that means for everything and for every view, be it cricket or politics or Donald Trump, I have a view. But Diksha will not give you an answer on Donald Trump. It will finalize tickets for you. Am I right? So that's what it is. Pleasure and pain. I'm hurt. I love ice cream. Let's do some adda. What will be for the menu? Biryani. AI will suggest that you can order from Zomato or from Swiggy. This is available. This store is open at night. But for all you know that, you know what, you want to have a cup of tea and maybe some jhalmuri at 1 a.m. because adda has just come up and we want to do that and it's not available, you do it. You will exercise that option. Love. We all are human beings. We love. We are sitting in this presentation of talks and conversations, but still standing and hanging in. And because you love this panel, you love us, you love your subject, you love your alma mater, you want to ensure that it is concluded on a good note. And finally, we are all people who will chase excellence, which is E. I mean, we are always in pursuit of excellence. All human beings. I have never seen one human being in my life who says that I don't want to be excellent. In whatever form he is with limitations or lack of competence, he or she is trying hard to excel in whatever he or she does. So with all this, I think we went around the room and around various topics in 80 minutes. And thank you very much, panelists. And with that, let's give a big round of applause to the people. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you, panelists, for such an interesting session. Thank you. I would now like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Ashok Adhikari and Mr. Gora Chakraborty for their invaluable support in making this conference a success. Please join me in giving them a big round of applause. Thank you. I now invite Mr. Shantanu Nandi, 1994 Metallurgy, Secretary of Jadavpur University Alumni Association, Mumbai Branch, and convener of this conference, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Hello? Yeah, okay. What an excellent day, very meaningful. You all agree with me. Good evening, distinguished speakers, guests, and all our delegates. On behalf of Jadavpur University Alumni Association Mumbai Branch Seminar Committee, I have been entrusted the pleasant task of rendering vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to offer sincere thanks to Professor Amitabh Datta, Mr. Pankaj Kumar, Mr. Debashish Chatterjee for their thought-provoking address made during inaugural session. Thanks to all the panelists, Ms. Suparna Singh, Ms. Somosri Chakraborty, Deepak Baruka, Mr. Amitabh Mukhopadhyay, Mr. Raj Rishi Singhal, Ms. Anagha, Mr. Indranil Chakraborty, Mr. Apurup Sengupta, Professor Alak Sharma, Ms. Sujata, Ms. Prachi, who all are stalwarts in their respective fields for sharing their valuable experience with the audience. They made the session interesting and meaningful. It was a learning input for all those present in the seminar. My sincere gratitude to ONGC, JSW, L&T Realty, Carlton, Adani Wellspan, J&K, Halliburton, ASCA, Devendra Group, Deepak Nitrite, NUBS region, and all other sponsors and advertisers who have rendered financial support for the event. I also extend thanks to Mr. Ashok Adhikari, Mr. Gora Chakraborty, Paramita has already mentioned, Mr. Ramani Iyer, and our distinguished senior alumni members for their guidance and inputs for successfully executing this conference. I also thank other alumni members like Mr. Partho Khan, Shukumar Pramanik, Anjan Chatterjee for their contribution. I thank Mr. Dibyendu Chakraborty, Chairman, Seminar Committee, Rudranath Banerjee, President, Alumni Association, Mr. Sumit Bardhan for executing the event with minute-by-minute review, constant monitoring during last few months. I cannot forget the support from Mr. Shubhajit Bose, Mr. Amitabh Mukhopadhyay for the event, without which the conference would not have been possible. The coordination and work done by Arunabh Khan and Ms. Paramita in ensuring media and cave artwork is really commendable. Young members Srijit, Chayan, Suman, Arnab, Sovik, Tanmay, Rajiv, Anandarup and other volunteers too have contributed greatly. Thank you. Thanks from my heart to all other executive committee members and all extended family members of executive committee to support and allow them to spend time for organizing this program beside their family life and busy schedule. I also thank all the support staff, printer, decorator, management of Lulit Hotel for overall arrangement to help us make this event within the schedule. Last but the least, I thank all the delegates and guests and alumnus present here for their wholehearted support and active participation, thus making this seminar a grand success. Lastly, yes, I also thank Mr. Pranesh Sengupta, Manav Saha, Shankar Ghosh, they have all come from other cities also. Yeah. Lastly, I would like to announce that we have an upcoming event on 10th May on Solil Chaudhary Centenary, Prithivir Gadita Thamao. Request all the members to register earliest. And that's all. Thank you for all. And I will invite all the alumni members for a group photo. Thank you. Employee Connect. Yes, all the participant guests, can connect with the, Employee Connect stall there and outside with Boyan Hardin for whatever queries you can have. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
As we come to the close of this wonderful conference, I extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for your time and your enthusiastic participation. A big thank you to our esteemed speakers, guests, organizers, and everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this conference a success. With that, we officially wrap up the proceedings. Until we meet again, take care and stay connected. Wishing you all a fantastic evening ahead. Thank you.